Hello everyone and welcome back to Amity Bloom. It's time to play with some more paper, designs, and pretty florals. I wanted to create ephemera pieces such as these floral embroidered trims, some sentiment cards that have faux stitching on them, as well as lines for journaling. I created a set of functional writing papers that mimic vintage and antique ledger pages, perfect for writing. Now, no ledger pages are complete without any antique wallpaper. I used some 100-year-old wallpaper and combined it with my own designs, and I created a neutral yet super vibrant and beautiful floral wallpaper paper pack. I feel like I'm in a white cottage and I have my beautiful garden and my flowers planted on my pages, giving this paper pack a timeless elegance that can go with any style of a journal. The embroidered trims, the journal sentiment cards, all of these treasures come together along with the paper packs to create beautiful and effortless journal spreads and projects. I have a beautiful pile of paper treasures on my desk today. Papers that I've created, some of my antique wallpapers, as well as some of my own designs, and then I also created some ledger style type of writing pages. I think it's the perfect balance of functional papers with really lovely decorative papers. I wanted to take the sentiments that everyone has loved so much, and it helps you communicate your artwork through words. So I wanted to come up with new sentiments, but this time on journal sentiment cards. They have all been stitched or virtually stitched, different sentiments with typewriter font, and then you also have some blank ones so that you can fill out your own little cards with the sentiments that you want to write into your journals. I also wanted to create some beautiful floral embroidered trims using my designs and my drawings. And in the color palettes that we all love so much, I absolutely am so in love with this. I am addicted creating these, and I think this is just the first pack to come of many. But I really hope that you guys absolutely love all of the paper treasures and ephemera pieces that I wanted to create for you all. The papers, the sentiment cards, and the embroidered trims were all printed on 110-pound cardstock semi-gloss paper. For those who were wondering, let me collect my little paper treasures. Oh, they're so cute. I want to put them in like a little pouch and keep them safe forever. I don't even want to use them, but that's the great thing about printables is I can just reprint them and reprint them. There's no guilt with using them, which is why I really adore these types of printables. I am going to be using some templates that I've made to create mini little envelopes that will turn into an interactive and functional flip to put ephemera pockets, your memories, and you can then put these little flips into your traveler's notebook, into the journals that you create for yourself or that you use to sell. And it's going to be a super fun project, really easy, and we're going to be using all of our beautiful papers and embellishments. To create your envelope, if you're working with a template, you simply want to just trace around your envelope and then cut around the lines that you have previously drawn. I always like to straighten out my edges so that it's easier for me to use my scraps for future projects. Now that I have my envelope design cut out, it's time to flip over and start folding. I like using my ruler as a tool to help me fold in a perfectly straight line. Once you have used a ruler to fold all of your edges along the crease, you then want to fold in your sides to your envelope, the bottom, and then the top. And you should be left with something like this. This is super adorable. You now want to repeat this same step with 2 more envelopes. I'm going to continue using the same template. This template can be found in my Etsy shop as well if you want to use one, but you can really just eyeball it or use whatever envelope template that you already have on hand, or even trace one that you really enjoy. I suggest having 2 envelopes with a really beautiful design that you love, and then one of them with the ledger papers, or a paper that's more of your basic background paper that you don't really care about it being glued down, we are going to be gluing one side of the envelope to the page, and then these two will be visible, both the front and the back. Since they're the prettiest ones, I cannot bring myself to cover this up and glue it down, even though I can print it out again. Like, let's be honest, it's not the end of the world if you do. Out of these 3 envelopes, one of them will be flying solo, and then these are going to be connected. So I'm going to start out by gluing the envelope that won't be connected. It'll kind of be flying solo. You can line your envelope as well. Simply use your template and then trace out the lining part. But I'm going to leave it blank since I am going to be putting stuff in it. It'll just cover the design up. And you want to repeat the same step with all of your envelopes, just adhering the glue to make sure you close up the envelope flaps and they can actually turn into real usable pockets. Now that you have this step finished, you want to take one of your envelopes. I'm going to take this one since it has more of a basic pattern. This is the one that we're going to be gluing down onto our page. And you want to flip one to the left side just like this so that the flap is left over. And then you want to turn this to the right and flip it over. This will then be connected by the envelope flap, so this will be glued down. And when you open it up, you will have a little pocket from this envelope that will be glued to your page. And then you will have another little envelope that you can tuck ephemera in and then close up. If you position it this way, it can get a little bit annoying by having the flap opening up inside of your booklet. But if you position it this way, your envelope will be a lot easier to open up and it'll just flow nicely. Now you can decide to leave your little envelope flap as it is and glue that down. However, I like to trim it off so that it looks a little bit more like a booklet rather than an envelope. And since I'm using my ledger paper, it already has a straight line for me to cut. So turn it over, adhere my glue, and then place your envelope. And there you go, you have both of your envelopes connected. Using the flap of your first envelope, you can put your ephemera in there, your memories. What I love about it is that you can't tell it's an envelope until you open it up, which is my favorite part about this cute little way of connecting your envelopes and using them in a functional yet really decorative way in your journals. So now that you have both of your envelopes connected and then one of your standalone envelopes, put them aside so that we can begin working on our page. Now you want to take a piece of paper and you want to measure it to be the size of the journal page. And you want to add about an inch more to be folded over, so about that much. I like to fold it exactly where I need to trim it. This just makes it a lot easier as opposed to measuring. Now that you have your paper trimmed to cover your journal page and then also 1 inch to be folded over, I want to place some of this really lovely script paper right on top of my wallpaper because I think it's a little bit too busy. And I did this just to tone down the back of the wallpaper as I didn't want it to take any of the focus away from the envelopes, which is the star of the show. So I'm going to start out by gluing the back part of my envelope right on top of my base page. And my base page is just the page that's going to be glued into my journal. Really, really pretty. You could also turn this into a tuck spot. You can leave the top open and use that as another pocket if you wanted to, or you could leave the sides open. There are so many ways that you can use these little envelopes and really make all of the space worthwhile. So now that that has been glued on, we now want to work on the bottom. Since this one's going to be glued down and it flips out, I want to keep the interactive bits going by having this envelope detachable so that you can put it back in and take it back out. And in order to do that, you can create a pocket at the bottom or a belly band. And when I look at these embroidered floral trims, they remind me of the perfect little belly bands. They are just so perfect. I think the larger embroidery trims would be perfect for side pockets, full pockets for your pages, but the embroidered trims that measure 1/2 inch or 1 inch, these are perfect for belly bands. It's going to be to house this little envelope here. So it needs to match and coordinate with this envelope. What should I use? Honestly, Let's go for the rose. I can't say no to this one. This one is so lovely and so darling. I am just going to cut right where I folded my trim. Make sure you save these little tiny pieces, as these can be used to create tabs. You can use them to decorate other little ephemera projects, which I think I'm going to do with this one. I applied some double-sided tape on the sides of my floral embroidered trim. However, you can use glue stick, you can stitch this, you can pretty much use whatever adhesive you have on hand. And I'm just going to place it right where I think is best. Not too much to the bottom, but not too much to the top. Making sure it's nice and straight. If you have an envelope, it stays open like this. But this way, the floral embroidered trim serves as the cutest little belly band, I think, of all time. I think this is the cutest one I've ever made. But it holds your envelope closed. It holds it nice and secure so it doesn't go anywhere. And you decide where you want to position it, so there's no worry about gluing this down. Now that the basic layout of our page is finished, I want to use my sentiment cards. You can also use these as ephemera and just include it in your belly band, or even fold it in half and tuck it into your little envelope. Isn't that the cutest? Having your little sentiment cards inside of your envelope. I think that is so precious. Oh my goodness, doesn't this remind you of a fortune cookie? Even the shape of it? Maybe it's because I'm really hungry. I don't know. But doesn't this remind you of a little fortune? And put it into your fortune cookie? Oh my gosh. This is my little fortune cookie envelope. That's adorable. And I'm hungry now. Now I want a fortune cookie. You can really use these however you would like. As an ephemera piece, as journaling paper, or you can cut the sentiments out. Ooh, I love this one. This says your words become tattoos in your journal, which is so right. This is a phrase that I've said many times before. A lot of the time we're scared to write in our books, we're scared to put our actual life into our books, and you shouldn't be. And I like to think of our journals as canvases where we tattoo our life, our words into our journal, because they're permanently there for your whole life. And I love it. So I think I'm going to glue this right here up at the top. You can also glue it right on top of your little belly band where the embroidered trim was. You can do so many things with these little sentiment cards. They already have a background for you. And what I love is that there's a sentiment and then space for you to interpret the sentiment to continue your journaling. This is something that I think I'll use on most of my pages because it's so universal and it's perfect to use as a journaling prompt to start a page, start your journaling, and then continue. They're just so lovely. I love them. I'm going to be putting this into my traveler's notebook. I'm just going to be flipping it over, folding it over. This is the part that's going to be glued onto my page. I love how the wallpaper looks with the craft paper. That is so lovely. And then when you flip it over, we have our functional yet beautiful and really interactive page that can flip out. You have more journaling on the back, journaling here, and you keep your little envelopes and your memories tucked inside. You can use this for so many different things, and I love how interactive it is. I can't wait to fill out the little pockets and all of the spaces with my pictures and my words. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this project video. So of course, until next time, I hope that you have an incredible day full of peace and love wherever you are. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye, and have a great day.